leadership and mentorship at a highest level. So this is a perfect segue to what we're doing today. And, with Dave Daughtrey, who is our highest level mentor when it comes to Upline Pro. So what better way to start our President's Day with our unofficial president from Upline Pro, Dave Daughtrey, who's going to teach us the art of deciding who or where you should position people when it comes to, aligning them with your business. So I think this is one of the untalked about skill set in helping you build your business from day one. The minute you can identify somebody and where they are better suited, you'll save a lot of problems down the road. So I think this is a great opportunity and a great discussion. But before we go into that, I know there's some housekeeping things we want to talk about. There was a really great conference on the ground follow-up, one conference on the weekend with LA and also in Miami. And just so you know, I did check the website. The immunity is still available. I didn't see it at my end, but I think the max, the max and the super greens is out of stock. But keep trying because it keeps fluctuating. Each day that I've been going in, it's in or out. It's available sometimes, but just keep trying because I know those items are going to be so hot right now. But I just saw the immunity, so I'm all over that today. So anyway, over to you, Dave. You can give us some insight. I think you were at Los Angeles this weekend. Were you there for that one?
Yes, we had a fantastic event in Los Angeles. It was a Spanish event, which motivates me very much to really grow and develop the English market here in the U.S. You guys, this is a gold mine. We've got hundreds of millions of people that speak English in the United States, and yet all these events from Miami, LA, Chicago, and of course Houston and Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, they're all going to be Spanish events. And if someone wonders, well, why? Well, the reason is they fill the seats. We had the room was packed. It was full, totally full in LA. I don't know. I didn't do a head count, but I'd probably say we had 400 to 500 people that were there. Fun event, a lot of energy, great stories, testimonies. One thing that's important about these new products, the Immune Tea, Super Greens, and Transfer Factor Max, the official launch date is July 1st. So the company's building up to that. In the meantime, they're allowing us on just these special days when they have the For Life events. The next one's coming up, I believe, is Chicago and Houston. On those particular days, they're making it available. Originally, it was just going to be available for those that attend the events, just to inspire and get people to the events. But obviously, when you have people in Canada or Seattle, Washington, it's a bit of travel to get to an event. So they made it available online. And so during the hours, or actually Saturday, I believe all day, you were able to purchase the products. Jillian, I don't know, you're not able to purchase the product today, are you?
Yeah, I did see them. There's the immunity is available. I
They
went
must
in
have left.
online.
Maybe they're just leaving it open until the products are out of stock.
Actually, I think it's because Puerto Rico has an event today. So they're
That's
honoring
why.
the people in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So that would
Puerto
make sense.
Rico.
So that's why I put in the chat the upcoming road shows. So you can see the days that they're actually going to be probably opening up the stores. So if you can't get it today, next June 6th is the next date that I'm seeing that it might be available, just so you guys know. That's
Awesome.
Houston. Okay.
We're going to be talking about identify your audience today. But before we do, I want to say something. We live in a world of communication and information. It's just amazing how fast technology is going. We've advanced more in technology just in the last month than they had in the previous, from the beginning of time until probably 1800s. And it's just amazing how fast things are going. And so we got now the AI. I use Grok personally, but I have Chat GPT, some use Claude. And I use it for things. And one thing I like about Grok personally, I'm not here to promote Grok, but when it comes to truth and doing deep dives into information, I like Grok. I did one over the weekend, comparing our super greens, 4Life super greens, to athletic greens, AG1. AG1 is huge, huge. They do billions. It's just a green drink. And when I was talking to Grok, basically after the research that was done, 4Life's super greens has clinical doses of product, clinically proven to do what it's supposed to do. Athletic greens, and this question came up to me, that's why I researched it. They have some vitamins in there. So I was asked, why doesn't 4Life put vitamins, like so much vitamin C, so much vitamin, the B complexes and so forth. Well, it's because they put synthetic vitamins. They add it in there so they can say that. There's no clinic. You could just sprinkle some dust in there and then you can say that it's in there. And so that's the one thing about 4Life I love. 4Life is a company of science and research. So when they bring us a product, you can trust it's clinically proven. There's research. In fact, Grok even said 4Life has got even 2 published studies on the transfer factor max. So other companies that put products out, they don't have clinical trials, they don't have studies. So 4Life's real big on the science and making sure that they bring products of quality. Now, that's wonderful that they do that, but understand something. 4Life cannot continue to do that for us if we don't do our part. They do their part extremely well. And that's one of the things that motivates me. It makes me want to do my part well, my job well. And that just simply means I'm the marketing person in 4Life. You're the marketing person in 4Life. That's what you and I do. They'll do the heavy lifting when it comes to research and science and product development. And then they do all the administration. They ship the products, they manage the inventories, they pay all the employees, they pay all the office rents around the world and continue to expand. I mean, when you look at it, what they do is so much more than what we have to do. All we have to do is get out and talk to people, bring them to, and explain to them what we have. Now, that does require a little bit of skill set, not a lot. Storytelling. 4Life has a story. Our products have a story. Become a good storyteller. If I asked us all to go watch a movie, you can pick a movie, I don't know, Top Gun, something we all know, Finding Nemo, and all of us went and watched it. And then afterwards, everyone had to tell us what the story was about. You all would tell a different version of the story. Nobody's going to say it 100% the same, but we still understand the basis of the movie and the story. And that's kind of how this is. We're storytelling, but as you talk about 4Life, as you talk about transfer factor and explain to people, I'm excited now that I know more about where our vital factor comes from, and the fact that our transfer factor max, it now affects, or it elevates, activates over 90% of our immune cells. It's extremely exciting. And then we take transfer factor max or phytofactor and put it in the immune T and the super greens. Not only are you getting super greens, you're getting phytofactor. In fact, Grok was impressed by it I'll have to play that for you. I'll have to go back and find and play it for you guys. But I was super impressed. Grok was basically kicking AG1 to the curb and saying, you guys got the best product out there. And so that's the age we live in. And it's wonderful. I love it because truth prevails. And that's what I love. 4Life is a company of truth. They do their job. We have to do our job, you guys. We've got to get out there. So part of this in the development process, and I understand most people have never built a network. In fact, they've never even built a business. And that's why I always say the last words out of my mouth in Los Angeles when I spoke, I closed the event. I said, get connected and stay connected. You have to. Unless you've built a big business before and you can do it by yourself, great, go for it. But the reality is 99.99% of the people have never done it. So therefore, you have to stay connected so you can learn, develop, and grow. So one of the things that's so important in building your business is having a plan of action. You've got to have a plan of action. If you don't, guess what? Days go by, weeks go by, months go by, and pretty soon it's all, you're not even thinking about your business. Having a plan of action keeps you engaged on a regular basis. All right. Now, obviously, you've got to stay connected as well. But if you don't have a plan, you're kind of like the wind. On any given day, it can blow east, west, north, south. You don't know where you're going. So in my plan of action, which by the way, I just looked on Upline Pro, I need to get it up there. I thought it was there. My plan of action is very simple, and I do need to modify it a bit because of the social media aspect now. But there's only 4 steps. Only 4. Really simple, you guys. Step 1, prepare. And that's where the education part comes in. Knowledge creates confidence. We all know that. The more you know, the more confident you are. The more confident you are, the more you're capable of talking to people, storytelling. You just feel really confident. And that's how I am. When I talk to people, I'm very confident just because I have some knowledge. Where did I get the knowledge? I took the time to learn. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. So step 1 is to prepare. All right. Understand a bit about your products, understand about your company, understand a little about the app, how to use the 4Life app. And you don't have to know it all. You earn while you learn in this business. That's what I love about it. There's no going to college for 4 years, getting a degree in network marketing and 4Life, and now you're ready to go to work. No, you earn while you learn. And by the time 4 years go by, you should have made now many, many, many thousands of dollars. You go to college, they're not going to pay you. You're going to pay them. Here, you don't pay anything to learn. It's free. Think about it. I mean, it's crazy, you guys. So prepare, all right? And that also means not just learning about the 4Life app and the products and the pay plan and things like that. We'll teach you all that stuff, and it's all available as well online. It's also analyzing your market a little bit. Who do you know? And who do they know? You might say, you know what? I've got a friend, John, and I know that John told me that his dad works for some big marketing firm or advertising firm, or maybe he's a celebrity or something. Well, you start thinking, who knows who? These are the people you want to share with. And there's no reason when you understand the products that we have and you understand how this can impact people's lives in such a positive way, you want to share it with people. You get excited to share it with people. Not everybody's going to be ready. It's not your fault if they're not ready. And that's step number 2. So step number 1 is prospect. I'm sorry, step number 1 is prepare. Step number 2 is to prospect. We covered that, all right, a couple of weeks ago on our Mentor Monday. And prospecting just simply means you have your daily goal or weekly goal. I hope it's a daily goal, because if it's a weekly goal, it's going to be a long time before you build a real network, a real community with us. A daily goal of how many people you're going to talk to. And even if they're not on your list, all right, even if you've got a list of people. In fact, I showed this. Let me show it to you guys. I showed it the other day in one of my trainings. Gabby found this. I don't know where she found it. She found it somewhere, probably in a storage box. 1998. This is my list. This is my very, very first list of phone calls. Now, I get it. Today, you've got email and social media. When I was starting 4Life, email was just beginning with Hotmail. It was brand new. I didn't even understand how to use that. So I just wrote phone numbers of people I wanted to call and introduce them. And the dates on this, just to show you, because I wrote the dates down. Here we go. November 6th. I know I don't write well, you guys. 1998. All right. But in your prospecting efforts, you have to be a bit organized because you can't manage what you don't measure. All right. So you have to have some sort of system where you keep track of who you talk to. Because if not, then you're just playing a one-off game, talking to somebody one time. And I'm telling you, that's like closing your eyes and throwing a dart at a dartboard, hoping that you hit something. If you follow up, you'll be able to find people at the right time. And that's one of the most important indicators of identifying people. All right. And we're going to talk about that right now. So Number two is prospect. Have your prospecting goals. And don't get all, excuse my language, but don't get all butthurt if someone's not ready. If they're not ready, they're just not ready. And it's not your fault, it's not my fault. But if you follow up with them, you would be amazed how many people that you will talk to. And at one point, maybe the first conversation, I call it first exposure, when you tell them what you're doing, why you're doing it, and also how you say it is extremely important. Why? Because if you're not excited about what you're doing, if you're not confident about what you're doing, how are they going to feel excited and confident? So if you talk to someone and you share with them about our company, products, marketing plan, just whatever they need to hear to help them also enrich their lives, all right, through our products and maybe even change their income level by adding another income stream to their income. Who doesn't want another income stream? So when you're confident about all those things in your prospecting efforts, trust me, as you follow up with people, you'll find people at the right time. It's all a numbers game. Strength in numbers and law of averages. And that's never going to change. You talk to 10 people, so many people are not going to be interested. They're just not ready. Some will be interested, but maybe the timing's just not right yet for them to do something, but they're interested. You follow up with them. And then there are going to be those that might be your customers. They might say, let me try your product. I want to try your super greens, or I want to try your transfer factor. I mean, we've got so many products now that impact people's lives. Renuvo for recovery and feeling 22 again. Age Pro for cleansing your body of zombie cells. Gold factor. I love gold factors. Took my gold factor this morning. Stimulating neurons in the brain, helping your memory. Clinically proven, even for joint pain. And protecting your telomeres so that you age slower. I'm trying to age backwards, you guys. I'm 66. All right. I'm hoping that when I'm 70, I look like I'm 50. So, but the point is this: you've got to have a plan in prospecting. Now, number three, this is what we're going to discuss more now. Identify. Identify your audience. Don't beat the same person over the head. Your business shouldn't depend on one individual. All right. So, as you're talking to people, you'll get really good at identifying as long as you listen. All right. When I talk to people, it's like playing a game of chess. I make a move, you make a move. And it's really fun. I think of it that way. I'm talking, and then I'll say, "Oh, what kind of work do you do?" Now, I walk my dog a lot. And where I go out in the fields or whatever, there's other people with their dogs, or even at the baseball field, they've got their dogs, people down there playing baseball. Just get social. I was never a social person. And even today, I'm not an extrovert. I don't go run around and jump up and down waving a for-life flag. No, but I calculate very well. I'm sitting next to someone and just start talking. This is a great baseball game, And so, yeah, it is. And conversation just starts. I mean, I have no idea where it's going to go. Just talk to someone. Well, eventually, as you engage in conversation, you'll realize real quickly whether or not they're social. Now, if they just stop talking to you after you say hello, I would say they just don't want to talk to you. Leave them alone. That happens to me all the time, especially on airplanes. Some people just want to be left alone. But some people really enjoy in conversation. Well, those people I talk to. So I'm talking to someone and we're talking about whatever. And I usually say things like, "Oh, do you live around here?" "Yeah, I live over in Blossom Valley." "Oh, that's where I live." "Great." And just engage in conversation. "Oh, what kind of work do you do?" And so I like the last guy I talked to, because I lay concrete, I pour concrete, but I talk to people all the time. Check this out. Talked to a guy over the weekend. He goes, "Yeah, I'm a retired FBI agent." I'm like, "Oh, cool." So, you never know. And I think it's kind of fun meeting people. Here's another one. I'm on a plane and the guy sits next to me. His name's Chris Bremble. All right. And you can look him up, Chris, Bremble, Chris Bremble. And we're talking, and this guy flew all the way from China to LA to get some medicine because he has a problem scratching. He's got an autoimmune condition. "Hello, I've got something I want to give to you." So all we're talking about is transfer factor, and I'm explaining to him the price. He's like, "I want to get some of that." And so In the conversation, I finally said, "Well, what do you do? What you flew over here to LA? What kind of work do you do?" This guy does all of the special effects. He has a special effects studio. All of Star Wars, all the Marvel movies, Black Panther. He's won Emmy Awards. This guy's a star. His friends are Kevin Costner, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. He hangs out with all those guys. So my head's spinning. I'm thinking, I want to get into your circle of people. I'd love to go to the Oscars and hang out with all those people. That's what he does. So you never know who you're going to meet. But there is a certain skill set in identifying people's needs. Now, obviously, with Chris Bremble, it was really easy. He's dying to find a product that will help him with his autoimmune problem. Let's try transfer factor. That was an easy one. But it's not always like that. Many times, especially with warm market, you guys, when you go to warm market people, they're more harder on you. The reason they're tougher on you is because you're trying to make a change. You're trying to do something different, you see? And a lot of our family and friends and neighbors, people that know us, they resist that a bit because they see you through their lenses, the way that they know you and see you, and all of a sudden you're changing. All of a sudden you're talking about this crazy transfer factor stuff. You're not a doctor. What do you know? And you're talking about now you're going to go out and you're going to build a business and make millions of dollars. Ha, right. Give me a break. No, you're not. You don't have a car. That's how I was. I didn't have a car when I started For Life. I couldn't even afford a $400 a month rent. I was sleeping on the floor. So when you're talking to people, they look at you, your warm market people, they look at you through their lenses. Well, this business, even life, is about change. You want to change. You don't want things to stay the same where you are forever. I mean, unless you're already making millions of dollars and happy with your life, great, go for it. But most people, they really would like to change their lifestyle. They would like to live a life of abundance. They would like to enjoy traveling the world. They would like to contribute rather than just survive. Well, that's what we offer people. And everyone will determine what level of success they achieve. And that's what I like also. Nobody gets appointed to Platinum International Diamond. You work your way there. You see, this is what we call it's real, equal opportunity. So warm market is the toughest on you. So this is my attitude towards warm market. Practice on them. Use them as the guinea pigs. I called my grandma, and my grandma's not a guinea pig. I love her. She passed away, 96 years old when I called her, by the way. 96. That was 28 years ago. I called her up. Grandma, I'm starting a new business, and I'm going to have to present to people. Can I present to you? Of course, she said, yeah. What grandma's going to say no or hang up the phone? Sure. I told her about transfer factor, and guess what she did? She bought a bottle from me to support me. And I thanked her. And her next words out of her mouth were, my son, are you sure? No, yeah, she said, are you sure you want to do that? Those are her exact words. Are you sure you want to do that? And I said, yes, I'm sure. And of course, she just said that and that was it. But she always supported me, my grandma. The next call was to my father, my dad, who passed away on Valentine's Day this year. I called my dad. You know what his words were? Son, why don't you get a real job? I don't want a job. We all know job stands for just over broke. They pay you enough money maybe to survive, but you're not going to thrive. You're certainly not going to live a life of abundance and make millions in a job. And besides, why would I want to build somebody else's dream when I can build my own dream? Think about it. I mean, I think most people would prefer to build their own dream, and that's what I choose. So, but he said that to me, and it hurt a little bit, but I just said, Dad, I'm going to do this. And I did. All right. And you know what? What made me proud is I got my dad to sign up. Not only sign up, I worked that position and got him to bronze elite. And one of the most rewarding times in my life with my father and my family was when I tried calling him and he didn't answer the phone for days. And I was getting really worried. And he calls me up all of a sudden. I answer the phone. I said, Dad, what's going on? Son, I'm sorry. Your mom and I are on a cruise outside of Alaska, and I don't want to pay for the internet on the ship. So I had to wait till we got to land so I could call you. but I felt so, it's just so cool. He's in his retirement age, he's spending time on a cruise, having fun, living a life of abundance. That's what life's about. So, warm market, use them as guinea pigs, practice on them. All right. Now, here's a question. How influential are you? When you call someone, now we're talking warm market, can you influence them, inspire them to take a look at what we offer? Because if you feel that you need the support, if you feel that they're just not going to listen to you, and by the way, the one platinum elite in my downline, platinum elite. If you want to know how much a platinum elite earns in For Life, just go to forlife.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you'll see an income disclosure. Platinum elites earn over $250,000 a month. A month. $250,000 plus a month. One platinum elite in my organization, I got him. How did I get him? Because his sponsor just didn't feel sure enough about him, because he just felt he didn't have the credibility, because he'd been in 100 multi-level marketing companies. And he called me up and said, Dave, I hear you speak Spanish. I said, yeah, I speak Spanish. Will you call this guy? His name's Herminio Nevares. And I said, sure, I'll call him. So what I do, I call people all day long. Give me his number. Called him up, talked to him. Rest is history. He's a platinum elite today. All right. So if for some reason you feel that you have someone, warm market and even cold market, that you just feel like, you know what, I got this person, I've hooked them, they're on the line, they're interested. All right. And by the way, I don't make calls for people. All right. But I will present with people. All right. Most of the ones that I personally sponsored, especially, I'm a good sponsor. But if you have someone, you've planted the seed, first exposure, all right, you gave them the first exposure, talk to them. Don't try to explain it all to them unless you know how to do it. Then, yeah, do it all day long, but bring them to your sponsor. And if you're like, well, my sponsor's not even doing anything. Okay, what about their sponsor and their sponsor? Go upline somewhere. Get on one of my calls. We do calls all throughout the week. So bring them to us. We'll talk to them and present the plan and share with them. So you have to plant that seed, but then you have to identify. All right. So warm market, inspire, influence, but use your upline as much as you can. Now, let's get into cold market a little bit. I like cold market. The reason I like it, it's fun. It's really fun. I mean, just Saturday, we're driving back from LA and we go to a place called the Crab Cooker. I love the Crab Cooker in Newport Beach. There's more Rolls Royces in Newport Beach than any other city in the world. And it was packed. People visit Newport Beach. It's a great tourist spot. But we're eating at the Crab Cooker. They've got just great fish. And the lady that serves us, her name's Becca. That's the other thing too. It's good also for your memory to, when we talk to a cold market person, ask them their name. Now she was wearing a name tag. And I said, is it short for Rebecca? Yeah, it was. Let's call her Becca. Engage in conversation. Start talking. You live around here? Yeah. Great. We're coming down from LA, heading back to San Diego, had to come to Crab Cooker, get some food. And then she tells me, she goes, oh, you've got to try our oysters. Okay. I'll try your, I haven't had oysters since I was probably in my 20s. Yeah, I'll have some oysters. Connection right there. We're talking. She's talking to Gabby. We're talking engaging. It's fun, And then you say, is this what do you have you do this full time? You work your full time? Is this your main job? Yeah, it's my main job. Okay, but I've run across people that say, no, this is a side hustle for me. It's the weekend. I just do this on the weekends to make some extra money. Well, I tell you what, I've got something that you might be interested in to give you another income stream, working from home. And the great thing about you build residual income, so you're not working for somebody else. You're building something yourself. We provide all the support. It's wonderful. We've got a great community. You got to come check it out. That's it. It's that simple. But if you don't know what to say or how to say it, then you're not going to say anything. That's why you have to practice. Practice with your dog, practice with your cat, practice with your spouse. Just practice. Develop those social skills and make it fun. Cold market's fun for me because they don't know anything about me. I could be a super duper triple crown elite intergalactic gold platinum diamond builder. They don't know the difference. Or I could have just started yesterday. It's all what's here. It's all the skills that we develop throughout our lifetime, really. So cold market, make it fun and make it like a game of chess. The ultimate goal is to have a new affiliate, a new distributor that's interested in building a business as your partner. All right. Let me tell you another story real quick. I'm in an airport in Mexicali, Mexico, flying to Mexico City, and the flight got delayed. They announced over the loudspeaker, flight's been delayed. I'm like, great. It's early in the morning, and I think it was a Sunday. I know it's a Sunday, but just because of what the man said to me. I walk into one of those little boutique shops, little convenience stores in the airport, and I walk in, and I just simply say, I see, but I didn't even know I was going to say this. Newspapers are hanging on a rack, and I see they've got like 5, 6 different types of newspapers. Thought just came into my head, and I asked the guy behind the counter. He was an older guy. I said, if I was going to run a ad and try to reach out to a lot of people, what would be the best newspaper to use here? Because some newspapers are about cars and things like that. And then he says to me, well, what kind of ad do you want to run? In fact, some newspapers don't even have classified ads. He says, what kind of ad do you want to run? I said, well, I'm opening up a business here and I'm looking for some business partners. And so I'd like to run an ad to see if there's anybody interested. Well, guess what he says? What kind of business? I proceed to tell him. Took maybe 2 minutes. And guess what he says after that? Well, you see, this store, this is his quote, this store is my store. My employee called in sick today, so I came in to cover for him, but I own this. So I'm interested in knowing more. Huh? Okay. You never know who you're going to meet or talk to. This is a social business. If you really want to be very successful, if you want to have that platinum elite income of $250,000 a month, and I do, I'm not there, I'm platinum, all right? But I'll get to platinum elite. I'm just having fun getting there. Then you're going to have to be social, engage in conversation. That's what we do. That's what we get paid for. All right. Now you can get customers, you can put, Facebook, social media, all that. You can get customers. But when it comes to getting business builders, you have to engage face to face if you can, or Zoom. Cameras are okay. Face to face is better. The energy that was there Saturday, you can't compare that energy that we had Saturday compared to a Zoom meeting. No, not even close. So, identifying your audience, cold market. Here's what I do, and warm market, by the way. But warm, in fact, let's play with both warm and cold market. And I want to get into this a little bit because this helps me identify my audience a lot. When I'm engaged in conversation, I never know the person, much about them when I talk to them. But in conversation, very quickly, I would say probably within 5 to 10 minutes, I can peg somebody. I can identify what color they are. I use colors, all right? The reason colors help me is because when I do some trainings on this, the magic of colors, like Cloudy is a good example. Cloudy will call me and say, Dave, I just talked to someone. They're very blue and very yellow, or they're very red and very green, all right? There's 4 colors that I use, and they are, as I just mentioned, red, green, yellow, and blue. But we're going to start with green. Green people are very technical. So that's why the knowledge is so important. When I say knowledge creates confidence, green people like to be confident in their decisions. They want to make sure they make the right decision, not the wrong decision. In order to do that, they ask a lot of questions. Tell me more about your product. Is there science behind it? Is there any research? All right. They're going to get technical on you. And if you're like, I don't know, they're not going to feel very comfortable. That's why it's important to have some knowledge. So green people, they make decisions based on information, not necessarily emotion. They don't generally get really emotional, all right? Like the FBI guy I met over the weekend. Definite green, not much emotion at all. All right. But he really wants to build a business. He really wants to be successful. He hung around. We stayed after the event talking to him for probably an extra half an hour just because he wanted to know. And Nathan from For Life also hung around with us. Definitely green. I pegged him right away. All right. So remember, green people, it's all about information. They're going to, and they might even get tough on you. They might even test you to see what you know. All right. But they make decisions on knowledge, not necessarily emotion. Now let's go to the opposite. Yellow. They're the opposite. They make decisions on emotion. Being in that room on Saturday, there was a number of new people there in the room on Saturday. I guarantee you, they got emotional from the stories and the testimonies and Dr. Vollmer talking about, phytofactor and the science of what makes our products so fantastic and comparing it, even compared to AG1, athletic greens, when he was talking. But the yellow people, they're going to make decisions based on emotion. Give an example. I use this one all the time as an example. I was in Viña del Mar, Chile, doing a presentation one day. This is years ago. And I'll never forget, her name was Ursula Serrano. She stood up and gave a testimony about her cat, how her cat survived. It was dying and it took transfer factor. This is at the time where we only had transfer factor classic. That was it, just classic. And she gave classic to the dog, or her cat, her cat. And the cat survived. And she was giving her testimony. A lady sitting next to me got all teary-eyed. And I looked over at her and I just said, wow, great story. And the lady goes, I love cats so much. And I'm like, she's a yellow, emotional. I'm not going to start getting into talking about the Dalton weight of transfer factor, and it's a chain of peptides, which is under 50 amino acids. I'm not going to get a lot of technical jargon with her. She's ready to go. She's emotional. She wants to try it just because she's what it did for Ursula's cat. So you identify those people. You'll know they get emotional. You can just tell right from their personality. All right. They make decisions on emotion. The best thing you can do, storytelling, testimonies. Green people, testimonies don't mean so much to them until they try it and they see results. Then it means a lot to them. Yellow people, stories are so important. So you tell them, let's say that tomorrow I'm talking to somebody and they say, oh, I've got a cat that's really sick. I'll say, you know what? I've got a friend of mine named Ursula. I know that was a long time ago, but it's true. I got a friend of mine, Ursula. She's a friend. I know her. Friend of Ursula, she gave her cat transfer factor and it really helped. In fact, it saved her cat. I recommend you try it. Done. I'll bet you anything that person who has a cat that's dying will try it. That's what this is all about, you guys, helping people. So yellow people are emotional. Okay. Don't blow them out of the water with a whole bunch of information. Okay. And listen to them. That's my habit, by the way. I've got bad habits. We're creatures of habit. All right. One of my bad habits sometimes, I like talk, 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 talk. My dad would tell me, you got two ears and one mouth, so you listen more than you talk. And so I need to listen more sometimes, but that's how you identify people. So let's move on. Blue. Blue people are a lot of fun. They're extremely social. All right. You ever been to a party or been someplace where there's the social butterfly there that's going around saying hi to everybody? You see them on TV all the time. When they have a party, there's somebody walking around, even introducing people. Hey, Tom, this is Mary. Mary, this is Tom. Those are your blue people. They just want to belong. They love being part of the family, the community, the party, the life of the party. We've got people that go to conventions and they're honestly not about trying to become a platinum. They just love going and being involved. All right. And involvement creates commitment. So the more they're involved, the more committed they are. But they're at all the meetings, all the events, just because they love our culture. They love our communities, our family. And so those blue people, just be social with them. And I'll tell you one thing about blue people, it is very important. You have to let them also speak. Let them share what they're feeling, what they just let them talk. And that's tough for me sometimes because, especially if I'm at an event. I mean, I've been at an event before and I'm talking on stage and somebody stands up and starts saying stuff back to me. And I'm like, whoa, 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 we'll talk after the event. But I right away identify them as a blue person because they're very social. They want to fit in. They want to belong. So just let them have their space, especially in one-on-one conversations. If you're in front of a group of people, obviously you have to say, well, let's chat afterwards. But blue people, social. Make them feel very welcomed. Okay? It's not about the technology. It's not about the storytelling. They just want to be part of the family. Then there's the reds. I can tell you right now, two strong reds are David Lisenby and Danny Lee. Just watch David. I mean, any of you went to convention, all right? David Lisenby, he's an executive. Reds, they like to work inside the box. They are uncomfortable when you take them outside the box. Reds are very expedient, get things done, get them done on time. They're very formal, meaning that they do what they say they're going to do, and you can't. I'll give you an example. David Lisenby, if he says, "Let's all meet at 12 noon for lunch," you better be there 12 noon. He's there and heading out the door. All right. They just do things on time, scheduled by the book. That's how Reds are. All right. And they're very, things are very calculating for them. And that's why you see a lot of like Danny Lee, CPA, Steve too, our ex-CEO, CPA. You know, that's the background that they have. So very structured. How do you treat a red? You know, they're interesting. You have to kind of get up to their level, which simply means that they're going to talk like a CEO or a CPA or something like that. And so you kind of have to rise to that occasion a little bit and talk at their level. I mean, what if you were to talk to David Lisenby about For Life and Transfer Factor? He knew nothing about it. How would you peg him? All right. How would you talk to him? And they're hard to read, by the way. Like Danny Lee, he's very hard to read. All right. There's really not a lot of emotion there. All right. Don't know what whether the knowledge of are you technical? What are you? With numbers, he would be. All right. So you basically just have to navigate your way through it, and then you'll find if they're interested or not. Now, let's go through these indicators real quick, and then we'll kind of wrap it up today. In your prospecting efforts, as you identify people with the colors have to do with their personality types. There's other indicators that are extremely important. I talked about this at convention. Timing. That's the most important indicator because if the timing's not there and they're not ready to hear anything, they're not going to even pay attention to you. All right. So, your efforts, plant the seed. Excuse me, you already started, so plant the seed, but meaning you're going to tell them. But if the timing's not right, you can't expect them to make a move. But you don't know the timing's not right unless you plant the seed. Honestly, so yeah, plant the seed. Talk to them. First exposure. Present to them. Engage in conversation. If the timing's not there, basically it's going to be about the follow up. Okay, hopefully the time will be right. The next is going to be, does that individual have the ability to influence, inspire? What's their level of discipline? Influence is extremely important. Some people can't even influence their kids to do the right thing. All right. So, do they have the ability to talk to somebody and influence them to take a look at this? Do they have the ability to inspire? That means build their story as well. Your story is what will inspire people, by the way. How do we inspire people? Through our hard work. And you don't know this until somebody really gets started, whether they're inspirational or not. But influence is important. Who do they know? Especially if they're warm market. A lot of the people that they know. All right. So inspire, influence. All right. Then their level of desire. That's extremely important. In fact, I'll take someone any day who has a high level of desire over someone who has a high level of experience. I can't tell you how many people I talk to in my career and in for life that they talk about what they did in network marketing. Oh, yeah, I was in Herbalife. I was in Amway. In fact, the FBI agent was in Amway before. And they talk about the past and what they've done and so forth. Well, that's great. But I'd like to know today, right now, and I don't say it this way to them. In my head, I'm thinking this though. What's your level of desire now? Because if the desire is there, and I did this to somebody recently. I said, because he was in a company that crashed and it went down and he was really hurt by it. And he was making good money. He's probably making about $15,000 a month. Company crashed. You went from 15,000 to zero because you picked the wrong company. Now, I didn't rub it in, but I just said to him, Victor, is there still a spark there? Do you still have a spark to do something big, do something great? If that spark is still there, I'm inviting you. Come on in, join us. Let's do this. That was it. That was it. He called me back. Well, no, his words were, let me think about it. He calls me back the next day. Dave, yes, there's a spark still there. And he did. And he's actually up here from another country. And he's got a downline. There's a downline going. He's got people in Colombia, people here in the US, went to the event we did in Vegas. So, but the point is this: desire I'll take any day over experience. So what's their level of desire? What's their level of discipline? And by the way, these are indicators that I'm not saying you identify in them. They have to identify in themselves. So all of you, I'm asking right now, is the timing right? What's your level of desire? Do you have discipline? Are you tenacious? That's the next one. Tenacity. What does tenacious mean? You don't go cry when somebody tells you they're not ready. You know, if they're not ready, they're not ready. So what? Move on. Next, 8.3 billion people in the world. One says no. Now you got 8.2999999 million people to talk to. All right? No big deal. And somebody might talk to their first person and they sign up. It's different for everybody. So what about your ability to inspire people? Your story. Build your story. And that's something we should probably do a training on as well, because it requires a bit of creativity sometimes. You know, you sponsored your first person, let's say. You sold your first bottle of product. Tell people, put a post. Just started my new business, got my first person today to use my brand new product, Fido Factor. People, what's Fido Factor? You know, signed my first person up. And I'm real excited. You know, I'm on the road to success. First person international. Somebody in my downline signed up in Mexico. My business is now international. I never dreamed I'd have an international business. I'm so excited. Things like that. It catches people's attention. They're like, wow, you started your business a month ago and you're already international? Yeah. One person, doesn't matter, but we've got an international business. Let's say you get 3 people signed up and you get a builder bonus. My company just paid me a bonus from a global pool of money. It's like getting a share of stock or a piece of the company. I've been with a job for 40 years. They've never done that. This company I represent is paying me in places I don't even have business. Boom. Things like that, all right? But you have to have the ability to inspire people. Be tenacious, all right? Discipline, desire, all right? Timing, obviously so important. And at the end of the day, it's all about development, you guys. God put us here for a number of reasons, to experience a lot of things, but one of the main reasons we are here is to grow, to develop. And that's up to each individual. But he did give us something. We're the only animals on this planet that we can determine our potential. A tree can't do that. My dog Odin can't do that. We can. Isn't that crazy? We determine. He gave us potential, but we determine what level we're going to use that potential and rise up above. So I want to thank you all for being here today. So if anybody has any questions, comments, or anything they'd like to share, you can put it in the chat. And then if not, we will go ahead and finalize. I can pass it back to you, Jillian. I'm just looking at the
No
chat
problem.
here.
I think, yeah, Tricia had a question whether or not, are you a blue, Dave?
Ah, my color. Oh, you know what, Tricia? Thank you for saying that. The reality is, here's what we should be: a rainbow. And maybe that's
Mhm.
why Tricia said that, because she's heard me do this training before. You need to be a rainbow. I'm so sorry. That's the whole point of the magic of colors. Tricia, thank you for asking that question. We have to be rainbows. You adapt to the color you're talking to. If you're talking to a blue, be social, be blue. If you're talking to a yellow, get emotional, like the cat lady. Oh, I got really, when the lady next to me said she loves cats, I just said, oh, I love cats too. I'm allergic to cats, but I love them. It's okay. And you know what? I adapted to her color. If I'm talking to a green, I'm a green. Go ahead, fire away. Tell me, ask me questions. Now, when I was beginning for life, if I got a green, there's a lot of things I did not know the answer to. You know what I would say? Great question. Let me find that answer and I'll get right back to you. And that's kind of cool because now you got a reason to follow up with them. All right. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. And if you're honest with people and you come from the heart, that's what's important. They'll listen to you. You'll get them. So I'm a rainbow, really. I adapt to the person, but my innate personality probably not blue. We're talking about how I grew up as a kid and all that. As I develop my personality, understand something, you guys. Trisha, you've now set me off on a whole new tangent. We are born with two habits, crying and sucking. That's it. We cry and we suck. All right. That's how we kind of survive when we're babies. Everything else is developed. As I grew up, I was introverted. I was shy. I was afraid. I was a very afraid person because my older brother was just the opposite. My brother, man, he was a bully. The guy was massive guy. I mean, 6'4", 260 pounds, 7 to 8% body fat. When he got older, 29 bodybuilding. He competed 30 times in bodybuilding, won 29 titles and lost one. Played for the San Diego Chargers for a year. Daniel Daughtrey. So yeah, I was always in a shadow. So I kind of grew up that way. We're a product of our environment. So my environment was around him. So when network marketing came along, for me at the age of 21, I was not blue at all. That's a color I had to develop. And it took some time. So what? So I'd say, that I certainly wasn't blue. Probably yellow. I was a crybaby, you guys. Oh, I would cry over anything, growing up. And even today, I cry. So when I hear a good story, I get inspirational, you get emotional, I cry. So yellow, I'm Trisha, my innate color, 100% yellow. Not red, not green, not blue, yellow. There you go. So Jillian, I'll pass it back to you.
No worries. Thank you, Dave. That was great. Absolutely great. I do think doing a colors training would be a great one. This is something that I was all over with. I'd love for people to message me and tell me what color they think I am, because it's really interesting when you actually know the backstory of who you are and how you need to flex according to the person in front of you. Your messaging changes, Dave, right? You do. You actually, that's the first thing you do to identify people. I think it's a great opportunity training that we can do up in the future. I do also want to remind everybody that next week, because we do have Dr. Regina here in the audience, we have an incredible show next week. So you got to be advertising the Medical Mentor Monday, because I don't know about you, but everybody is talking about hantavirus. There's a lot of confusion out there. And we're here to offer some solutions and answers to overcome the I don't want to get into it. Anyway, bottom line is Dr. Regina will tell us what to do. Okay, so I can't wait for that call on Monday. So the event's already created. Start sharing away. And then also, just so you know, for tomorrow night for our Good Health Talk, we have a special talk tomorrow, and it's actually called God Chose Me for This. It's called God Chose Me for This. It's a special caregiver conversation. with Melanie Ann. She's one of our newest members of the Upline Pro and For Life team. She's also a hospice liaison, and she's going to help people understand that sometimes we get placed in certain roles at certain times in our lives as caregivers, as senior caregivers, and we have to give ourselves grace. So that's going to be an amazing call tomorrow night on Good Health Stories and Solutions community. And also we're resurrecting the detox diets on Thursdays from my end. But I also want to let everybody know from the Upline Pro community, a couple of changes this week. We are having a global business opportunity now. It used to be the Asian opportunity meeting, but now on Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Rexy, is 8 a.m. Pacific time. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
And that is open to the global market. So we're going to be talking why we as a community should be talking to everybody, regardless of where they are. Remember, beyond borders, beyond limits. It's not just for Asian markets. So definitely inspire people to come to that they will be presenting. And then Wednesday night, obviously, we have our private Life Legacy where leaders get together. Dave will be there, and it's really about sharing tips on how you can be better leader, or a more effective leader. So this is a really great opportunity.
It's an open mic. It's not recorded.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's really about, everybody engaging, and that's where I want to identify your needs. That's what that's all about. Life Legacy is really about identifying the needs of everybody and addressing those so people can, move forward and build their business.
Perfect. And then just thank you. And then just as a reminder, today is the roadshow in Puerto Rico. So let's wish them well. Keep tabs of the For Life website for, just double checking those products do show up periodically. The next roadshow, just so you know, if you have friends in Houston, Texas, or Newark, New Jersey, they're coming June 6th. So make sure you invite those friends on the ground so that they can take advantage of the opportunity to learn more about For Life. And then on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for a great call today. I can't wait to see Dr. Regina's show next week, and that'll be next week's Mentor Monday. Okay? Thank you, everybody.
Let's unmute the microphones here, and let's get some energy going here, because we got a full day ahead of us, and we need that energy. So come on, pass it through the camera.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
So much.
I love
Goodbye,
Thank you,
Julian.
everyone.
This is so
Other
helpful.
calls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day, guys.